Buddy, welcome back to Vitamin Lead, your healthy dose of leadership. I'm your host, TJ Reed, and can you believe it is already September? September! Wake me up when September ends. I don't feel that way. Green Day may feel that way, but I don't feel that way. And I love the fall. I don't know about you. I love everything pumpkin. I love hoodie weather. I especially love football. My team's the Ohio State University, and the Cleveland Browns are on the cover of one of the most recent Sports Illustrated magazines. So either hell froze over or something cool is going to happen this year, and I'm excited about it. And so they're saying that the Browns may actually go to the playoffs and be a Super Bowl contender. That would be insane, because 2 years ago they were 0-16. Think about that, right? Today I want to talk about the theme is right skills, wrong team. Have you ever been in a job and felt discouraged because you kind of knew what your strengths were, but they didn't seem to fit with that team, that position, those sorts of things? Sometimes, it could be that you're on the wrong team, right? It could be that it's the wrong timing. That organization does need those skills, but it's just not the right season, the right timing for that. Or it could just be the wrong surrounding cast, that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but the right pieces aren't in place to help you get there. I think it's magical when you got all the right pieces in place and you're able to make progress as a team. But I really want to focus today on right skills, wrong team. And how I want to do that is by looking at a head coach from the NFL by the name of Bill Belichick. Do you hear that? That's all of my friends and family from New England cheering for me right now. And so I hear Adam from Texas. I hear Steve from Pensacola. I hear my family up in New England. I hear my sister-in-law down in South Carolina. My mother-in-law here in Norfolk. They're all so excited about that we're going to tackle Bill Belichick on this podcast. And so, hey, if you're not normally an NFL fan, that's okay. But I think we can learn some things from Bill Belichick about, right skills, wrong team, and how we can really begin to process that as a leader and what we should do with that. So, little background for you. Bill Belichick started as an assistant coach in 1975. He started with the Detroit Lions. And what's incredible is that as an assistant coach, he took on all of these different roles on all of these different teams in his younger years, where he seemed to almost learn most positions by the time that he got into being the head defensive coach for the New York Giants. And so what's really cool is that he actually won 2 Super Bowls as the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants in 1987 and 1990. You might remember, if you're a Buffalo fan, 1990 is when Scott Norwood missed the field goal. It bounced off and the New York Giants won. But Bill Belichick was part of that, and he and Bill Parcells, who was the head coach there, they just made a great team. And they brought home 2 Super Bowls to the New York Giants during that time. After 1990, Bill Belichick actually took a head coach position with my hometown team, the Cleveland Browns, from 1991 to 1995. And let's just say it wasn't a great experiment. Like, he really struggled as a head coach. And he left the Browns in 1995 not having made much progress with this organization. Even though he was a really well-to-do defensive coordinator coach, he didn't make a good first step into the head coach position. And so I want you to stop right there and think about that with me, right? He had built his skills, and he was an incredible defensive coordinator, kind of like a second in line to Bill Parcells. And he really fit his skills and the position that he did on that team for the New York Giants. He did really well at that. And so then what he decided to do is he thought, you know what? I think I've learned enough from all these different roles that I've done that I'm going to take a jump into head coach. And he didn't do well. He didn't have a good record as the Cleveland Browns coach from 1991 to 1995. And so what did he do? He took a step back. He was 1 year as an assistant coach with the Patriots. And then his friend, Bill Parcells, who was the head coach for the New York Giants, took over the New York Jets. And so he went and joined him and became his assistant defensive coordinator coach again. And he worked with them up until the year 2000. He worked with Bill Parcells. He had some success there with Bill Parcells. So what did he do? He made his way up the ranks. He got to the defensive coordinator position. He won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. He took a leap into head coach and realized, you know what? I didn't do really great at this. So after 4 years, he moved to those other teams, worked with the New York Jets, had some success with Bill Parcells. And then what I love is that his past failure didn't necessarily dictate to Bill Belichick that he was just done being a head coach. What he did was he went back to where he had been successful working with Bill Parcells and this defensive coordinator. And then he once again had the courage to step up and step into a head coach position. And in the year 2000, he went with the New England Patriots, a team that wasn't great at that point, right? Like you can definitely say that outside of the 1985 Super Bowl when they went to go play the Bears, Patriots didn't have much going for them in those times. And so what's incredible is that Bill Belichick is now one of the most winningest playoff coaches and just touted as one of the best head coaches around, because he's been with the New England Patriots now for 19 years. 19 years. That's longevity, right? He won the Super Bowl. So he starts with them in 2000 and he wins the Super Bowl with this team in 2001, 2004, 2005, 2015, 2017, and 2019. How incredible is that? 6 championships throughout that time. That's not an easy feat to have happen. That even when you have the best players around you, there's a lot of best players around the NFL, but he's succeeded at that. And so here's kind of like 3 lessons that I would bring to you learning from Bill Belichick. The first one is this. He learned many different positions before leaping to head coach, right? And so a lot of times as you enter an organization or as you're earlier in your career, let me speak to you if you're in your 20s right now. It's okay for your 20s to be tumultuous, but just be learning throughout your 20s. It's okay if this doesn't fit and you tried out this job and it's really, you've given it a fair shake, but it's just not you. That's okay. Make the jump to something else where you think it is. Make sure that you've taken some time to take some things like the Strengths Finders test, know your Myers-Briggs personality test, your Enneagram, whatever those things are. Begin to know yourself, because every experience that you have and every opportunity that's given to you, you want to begin to learn yourself more. And so that's what Bill Belichick did, and that's what you can do. And so learn from the many different positions before leaping to the next position. I said it before, but when you fail, don't be afraid to step back and regroup. That's what Bill Belichick did. He stepped back, went back to his old pal, Bill Parcells, worked on the New York Jets, regrouped, and then jumped into the head coach position to win there. This third one I think is so important for leaders. Don't let your past failure keep you from stepping back up again. Don't let your past failure keep you from stepping back up again. If you struggle with that and you've just found yourself failing before, and that's something that's like haunting you from your past, deal with the emotional baggage of that. Deal with the skills baggage of that if you didn't have the right skills, that you would do something about that. And just deal with the interpersonal things that you need to deal with to become a better leader. I can't tell you how many times that I've failed and I've been really pissed off at everybody else other than myself. But as I took some time to reflect, I realized, you know what? I could have done that better. I could have said that better. I could have gone this way and done this better. So don't let past failure keep you from stepping back up again. If you've ever said the words before, I don't ever want to be a leader again, man, I encourage you, get some healing there, because you may need to in the next season step back up into leadership. So don't let that past failure dictate what your future is going to be. And the last thing I would say, in those 19 years that Bill Belichick's been with the Patriots, I told you the 6 different championships that he won. One of the interesting things to me is that between 2005 and 2015, he didn't win the Super Bowl. So let me encourage you that in that decade of time, right? If you're being faithful to a job, if you're being faithful somewhere, and you find the day in and day out that you keep coming up and showing up and doing your best, let me encourage you to make sure you keep growing during that time too, because maybe during those 10 years, Bill Belichick needed those 10 years to really build some other things into his arsenal so that he could win those championships. He's won 3 out of the last 5, right? Super Bowl championships. And so keep growing, keep growing. If you're faithful someplace, make sure that you're still growing, that you're still feeling challenged, and that you're growing professionally and personally in what you're doing. And so, for those of you that aren't fans of the NFL, you're probably going, man, how did you get all of that out of that Bill Belichick stuff? For those of you that are, I hope that you enjoyed this. For those of my New England family and friends, man, take this as a blessing, because I don't know how many of these New England podcasts I'll have in me, but I hope that this is helpful to you. That sometimes you can have the right skills and be on the wrong team, but figure out what season you're in and what you need to do to be different, and what you need to do. If it's a different team you need to go to see your skills being used. If it's retooling and stepping back up when you failed, whatever that looks like, be brave, be courageous to do that today. Hope it's been helpful to you. Thank you for listening to Vitamin Leads, your healthy dose of leadership, and I look forward to talking with you soon, friends. Have a great day. Bye.